Welcome to the MotUS Edge, where we celebrate business, primarily youth sports facility management, leadership, and motivation. Co-hosted by Stacey Rowe, Cole Stott, Kevin Brubaker, and Casey Jones. We are here to fill your cup with knowledge, laughter, affirmations, and comfort knowing that you're not alone. You can and will succeed with the MotUS Edge.
Hi, and welcome to the MotUS Edge podcast. We are so glad that you guys decided to join us today. I am Stacey Rowe, here with Casey Jones, Kevin Brubaker, and the incredibly wonderful, most amazing Kali Seitzer. Yay! Welcome, Kali. We're so excited to have you on today.
I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. So, you've been involved in cheerleading for a hot minute. I feel like you and I met at Premier Skills Camp, I think, was the first time that our paths crossed, right? Sean hired you in for Premier Skills Camp. Yeah, I think that was maybe
what
the
year
first
was
time.
that? That was in Atlanta, or not Atlanta, in Lake Point. Lake Point. When you guys were at Lake Point.
Was Lake Point your first camp?
Yeah,
with us?
I think so.
Goodness gracious. Okay, so
that's right down the road, and you guys didn't invite me to that. I live like 9 miles.
There's a reason there. We try not to invite you to a lot of things, Casey. We just don't always tell you. We just do them, and we're just smiling because you're not there.
I mean, I bet you weren't invited either. So, but we digress.
Good point.
Check. Right. Point Casey. All right, let's keep track now. I don't remember. It was a long time ago, though. But I immediately knew that you were a rock star. And I was like, I like this chick. She's pretty cool. So
yeah, it was a long time. It was more than 10 years for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I feel like, Casey, do you remember the first time that you met Kali?
It was more recent, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah, we didn't really know each other. I mean, I'd heard of you, of course, and on all your fame and glory in the cheer world. But no, I don't even know. I guess it was just dealing with Cheerfest stuff when we first really got to know each other.
Wow, really?
I don't know. The thing that stuck out to me is I could instantly pick up on, man, this person really cares. It's not like you were just doing a job or going through the motions or, hey, let's put this together. Like you truly take pride in your work and care about those that work around you. And it was really cool to see, like, especially, I know we're going to talk more about Cheerfest later, but really cool to see that you're caring for the people that work with you, but in return, man, those folks care about you and they will just run through a wall for you. So I could see that and see your genuineness.
I agree. And really. Kevin, you're just meeting Kali today for the first time, right?
First time ever. Yeah, I forgot. I'm pretty sure she's our shortest guest we've ever had. And
I doubt that. That can't be it. That can't be it. No way.
I'm
6 feet tall in personality, okay?
Or taller. And
how tall are you, Kali?
4'11 3/4. But if I stretch my neck, I can hit 5.
Really? Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, my daughter's my daughter says she's 5'1", and I'm like, yeah, with your shoes on. So you guys,
with my shoes on, I'm 5 for sure.
Perfect.
That was the same height as Sky and Ava. They all say they're 5 foot, but that's really they're 4'11 and a half or 3/4. So, and Kali's coached both my kids at some capacity over time. I mean, I've known Kali since middle school, so she's a former Charlotte All-Star, a very proud alumni. I coached her in high school on teal. She didn't make it her freshman year. She's still a little bit bitter about it, I think.
Forever.
So she only got to do it for 3 years. But keep in mind, she did not know how to count coming from gymnastics. And so that was a little special, important part of the formula to be on our top team is it helps if you can count to 8 consecutively. And that was not her forte for many years. And I've never wanted to punish a kid, but that was a new one. I'd never had a kid that couldn't count before. So boy, could she stunt and tumble. I mean, literally one of the best in our gym ever of all time.
Do you want me to make you feel better about that?
Sure.
Do you know I'm highly dyslexic?
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, terribly. With left and right, too. So left and right. Talk about being in cheerleading and being dyslexic with left and right.
Wow. And you probably didn't know that.
The bane of my existence right now.
You probably didn't know that back then.
No,
I
had no idea. I had no idea.
I had an athlete who I love dearly. Elaine, if you're listening, I love you. You know I love you. But she could never remember where she went in formation, ever. ever. Like I had to assign teammates to like point to her, like where to go to her spot, where to go to her spot. Yes. And I'm not talking about as like a tiny as a 5-year-old.
I mean, I was a clueless beginner cheerleader. Yeah, super. It makes a lot of things difficult. I don't know if it has anything to do with being left-handed. Like that feels like it's connected somehow, but not something I know like in real terms, but I feel like it's got to be connected, right? Not everybody's left-handed. That's a completely different thing. So I don't know, but I know that there is something up with left and rights.
I'm going to have to let you and Gage talk out y'all's dyslexia. He struggled. He has that as well. And he really struggled to learn to read early on, and now he's.
I'm okay with letters. Actually, letters are okay.
So it doesn't help that Casey's from South Georgia teaching him how to read, who can barely read himself. So that's part of the problem. I'm pretty sure.
We just sound like a bunch of banjos down here. So.
Oh my God.
Let me tell. I want to tell a Kali story because I have a billion.
There we go. Story time.
One of the best ones ever was, and I had this amazing athlete. She was a former level 10 elite level gymnast, and one of her really good friends, Carrie Privet. They were on teal together, both phenomenal tumblers. And we had a thing in our routine where we stopped the music for an 8 count and like everybody froze. And so there was stunts freezing, there was dancers freezing, there was people going up into like part of the pyramid that were frozen. And we had 2 tumblers.
It was to Britney Spears.
Carrie and Kali upside down, like they go into like they're going into a round off, and they freeze in the handstand with their legs in a straddle in the middle of the routine for an 8 count. And the crowd all thought, something was wrong, something happened to the music. And then after exactly 8 count, and then they finished, they came out of it. And I think just back then just did, finish their round off and doing back handspring, back tucks. And they both did it flawlessly all the time. It was one of the coolest things we ever did in a routine. But you had to have 2 really good ex-gymnasts that can freeze in a round off in a straddle and then tumble out of it. And it's one of the cool. Unfortunately, Carrie passed away a couple years ago from a brain tumor. It was really sad.
Oh, that's awful.
Her and Kali were 2 of the best cheerleading
my best friend
tumblers that we ever had on teal. And so it was a really cool thing that we did with Kali and Carrie. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's a fun memory. There were a lot of cool moments in those routines with Levi Brown and the way he did some of those things too.
I feel like back in the day, you could do a lot more fun stuff like that. I feel like
the music.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, the music, it was definitely the music. And then I also feel like just, you weren't trying to slam pack in so many different things to check a box on score sheet. So you had time.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't waste an 8 count on a freeze today. That would just be, there wouldn't be time for that. I mean, remember when dances were like 13 8 counts? And they would go on forever, and they were a show and part of the production. And, you're lucky if you scrape out 4 8 counts of a dance.
I know. Everything is so fast. I mean, it's crazy. Coaches are trying to get 49 8 counts in a routine now.
So you went to Charlotte All-Stars, Kali, and then where did life take you after that? What are you doing? What have you done along your journey, or what are you doing now? Tell us about you.
Well, I am currently living in Miami, but I've been coaching since I was with Kevin. He actually gave me the opportunity to coach. I was just a flyer coaching at camps, but trying to teach everybody how to fly at that time, what I felt. But that started a journey that I don't think I saw coming, to be honest. I didn't realize this was going to be a career, but it turned into me actually doing that for a living, traveling around to 27 countries, 29 states maybe now. I think it's about there. And it's just for cheerleading. So I've seen basically the whole world for cheerleading, through camps and clinics and teaching all around the U.S. internationally. So I never saw that. But I was in school. I went to college at SFA, Stephen F. Austin State University. And then I went to school at HPU, where I cheered all 6 years I was there, won all 6 years I was there.
And got a master's.
And got my master's in organizational change and development at HPU. My undergrad is in exercise science and psychology.
Wait, did you say organizational change and development?
Yep.
So what is that?
It's more based on like international business, but basically what I'm doing now, organizing the background of a business and kind of helping grow like I'm at Top Gun, I'm the director of program development, and I'm using a lot of what I learned there in my job. I'm using a lot of all my degrees, but the degree I think I use the most is my minor in psychology. That is like that's the top of the top. I wish I would have majored in it, gone all the way through master's with it. Like, that's it. That is the most important thing you could possibly learn because it's an everyday thing.
So
It's
I actually think that's a piece of great advice if we have any coaches listening and you're or anybody that wants to be a coach that's listening, when you're going to college, some education in psychology would be excellent. I think
it is so important. I feel like, and I only have a minor, and I wanted to major in it, but once you learn the basics of psychology, you can navigate any personality, any child, any situation that you have come at you in a gym or outside of a gym. It is the most valuable. And I realize it now because I'm teaching, I'm also teaching our staff, and I'm teaching our junior coaches, and I'm leading the whole, that they're, guiding them. And that's one of my major focuses. And it's showing because our junior coaches have an understanding that's a little bit different than the coaches that have not had any training at all with psychology or understanding the mind of an athlete. And just a little bit, even a couple classes can really help a coach understand from a different perspective and guide kids in a different way.
So this is not in any direction that we thought the podcast was going to go today, but I love this topic and I agree.
Me too, actually.
I had my degree was in math, actually with a minor in secondary education, but as part of the education department, like you had to take several educational psychology classes and understand. And I was always very fascinated by that. And I agree. And I think it teaches you a lot about, assessing others, and a reaction to things is not always necessarily a reaction to you.
Correct.
Yeah.
Being able to see the bigger picture and reading your room, that is so important for a practice. It's so important for your athletes and their well-being, parents, all the interactions that you have all around. I mean, you guys definitely know, you've all owned gyms. Like, you know what you have to read, what you have to understand. Like, but sometimes that's not natural. And I didn't honestly realize that because it's been so natural since I was younger. I didn't realize that it's not a natural thing. Like to be able to read a room and the psychology of
it's funny you say that because we think, as humans, we think we should intuitively know how to connect with others, but we often don't, and you've got to learn. And then there's different life experiences. And that's one of the challenges I know I had as a coach prior to having children. It was hard to connect to children, especially when they were younger. I felt like I gained experience as I had my own children, but there are a lot of coaches that are coaching that don't have kids. So I think, what you're talking about is huge, being able to connect with kids.
Or have like background life experiences. Like there's several people that have had only cheerleading maybe as an experience, let's say, like they have a perfect, upbringing and things have gone really well. And they've never had like a harsh, situation happen. That also makes you understand athletes in a different way because a lot of people are going through stuff. Like kids are going through some things. Most of the time, every kid's going through something, but you understand kids in a different light when you go through your own things and you go, okay, and you have a better understanding and you have more patience and you have more, it's something I think coaches should understand and realize that everybody's got a different story and that you've got to train everybody differently. That's what psychology did for me. That's why I feel like when I can walk into a gym, I'm going to make their day better and I'm going to make them better and I'm going to make them feel better about themselves. And that's the number one thing I think psychology made me realize is that's more important. If you can build somebody up, bring them up, that's it. You've done your job.
I agree. I mean, if you can build them up, then that's when the training can start. Because if they don't have the self-confidence, they don't feel good about it. If they don't, if they don't believe in what you're doing and what you're teaching them, then you're kind of wasting your time taking them through the drills and the skills. So,
or you just don't get as far.
Right.
Cole, I said Cole because I was wishing it was Cole instead of Casey. I meant Casey and Stacy. I don't know if y'all know this. I studied counseling in my master's program at UNC Charlotte. And one of the biggest things I took away from that was something Kali just said is everyone in life is either fixing to go through something or they're in something right now, or they just got out of something. And so the reality is, I love the building people up, Kali. That's your personality. That's your heart. That's who you've been since day one, since I've coached you, since I've seen you coach and do clinics and do all the things. I mean, I don't know. You're literally one of the best in the world at that. And I will say too, from a tumbling and stunting guru, especially with mental blocks, because of Kali's abilities, both mentally, spiritually, physically, and all that in a bag of chips. Oh, I love chips. Sorry, sidetrack. But just thinking about how Kali can help kids, especially with tumbling blocks. She's literally one of the best in the biz. It's pretty amazing.
I think recently, we're always learning and growing. And through my journey recently, I feel like I've learned that you can have two things going on at the same time, and it's okay to have two things going on at the same time. And I'll explain what I mean. And I don't work with kids a whole lot anymore, but I try to teach the adults that I work with even this too, because it was such an epiphany to me. You can have this sad thing going on in your life and feel really bad about it. And also at the same time, be happy about something else that's happening in your life. And we as humans often have a hard time like acknowledging that there is space to feel both of those things and that it's okay. It's okay right. to, have practice and have fun and do something and feel good about it while you don't feel good about this thing going on over here or whatever tragedy may have occurred. It's all right to let yourself be happy when something good happens, even if you're sad, or, to be happy and let yourself feel sad that something sad has happened. Oftentimes as humans, we're like, it's got to be one thing and that's it. And
sometimes that can be the escape. That's the thing that keeps you going. I'm dealing with this. That's what I was just thinking. And we try to preach that to our coaches of like, we don't know what's going on with these kids at home. They may be dealing with normal teenage drama or, middle school is so tough sometimes for the young females, because they're just trying to, boys come into the picture. They were all best friends one day and then the next day boys get in the way and they start liking boys and then they all hate each other. It's just tough for them. But, but what you talked about is an environment that they can come into and leave all that behind. And that can be their escape, even if it's for an hour or two, once or twice a week. And, sometimes that's what gets us through.
Yeah. I think keeping that picture painted correctly to coaches is important throughout the season, because I think when competition starts hitting and the pressure's on and you start winning or we start to lose sight that we're dealing with children, very young children, like that are there to also have a good time and do great in competition, but have a great time.
Well, yeah. And also I think too, kind of reminding the kids that, and the coaches, everybody involved, even the parents, like their status, they're winning, the team that they're on, the skill that they have is not indicative of who they are as a person. They are two separate things. And, just because you have a double full and are on a world's team and have won a gold medal does not mean that you are a decent and kind human being. Hopefully you are, but one does not actually make the other one true. They are two very separate things. And I think that is important to note as well. To teach the kids and the coaches too.
I know the good and bad feelings at the same time. I'm excited to get on the podcast. I see Stacy smiling at me, warms my heart. Kali gets on the podcast. Amazing. One of my favorite people ever. And then I look in the bottom right corner, my eyes. And unfortunately, it's Casey on there. So it's like this.
You just said Stacy.
No, Casey. Trust me, Stacy. You know how I feel about you.
You'll see me rolling my eyes here. I think it's just so great to have Kali here today. She's a testament to no matter how her coaching was, because Kevin coached her, so she's still her God-given ability.
If I would have taken back then, he wasn't with Jen, yet. He was just Kevin. And thank God for Jen, because Kevin chilled out.
That was a true statement.
He's a tough coach. Oh my gosh, I got my butt kicked. Like I did so many push-ups. I mean, that's why my arms are still good. I think
we were all tough back then. We learned better.
Yeah, for
Probably
sure.
less push-ups if you could count a little bit. So I mean, that's but it got you cheering in college, got you cheering in graduate school.
Yeah, for sure. You're the reason. You're the reason I'm sitting here. Actually, not because you are on this podcast, but legitimately sitting here in my life, doing what I'm doing in my life because of you.
That's
don't
amazing.
Tell him that. Goodness gracious.
Sorry, this is how this is going to go.
I got to coach Kali's brother too. Michael was the first boy that I coached on teal, and he was literally actually a better tumbler than Kali, if possible. I'll tell one of my favorite stories about Michael since I brought it up. I'm sitting here coaching a team in the gym, and all of a sudden this kid is walking up to me, and he takes step hurdle and does a punch front over my head and just keeps going like it was nothing. I'm like, and the squad was stunned. I about had a heart attack. I mean, it was really one of my favorite things in the gym. So yeah.
I didn't know that story.
Yeah, I love Michael, man. It's pretty cool. Anyway,
that's awesome. Our boys used to climb the rafters and like sit at the top of the gym. And I was like, oh my God, I need you guys to come down. I felt like maybe that's why I'm so good at wrangling the three of you, because I used to coach a large co-ed team back in the day. And all I felt like I did was wrangle the 15 boys that were on the team constantly. It was good times. So Kali, you were interviewed as well as many other people for the Pioneers of All-Star book that is coming out in September. You and Sean, actually. So what was that experience like for you?
That was awesome. We got off after talking to you, talking about it and just talking about actually our experiences in the sport, because they're very different. Him and I have a very different paths. So we talked about it a lot. Like it's pretty neat the way our paths. He's been in one gym. I've been in a ton of gyms for the last 25 years. And it was just really cool to talk about it out loud together. I think that was pretty neat. If anybody doesn't know, he's my fiance. And
I was about to say that.
Yeah, hope everybody knows. But it was just really cool to actually go back in time and also communicate and see the similarities out loud with somebody else, because we've actually talked about it, but never really gone into detail about it. So it was pretty, I'm really excited about that book coming out. I think it's going to be really cool. And there's a whole party around it. That's even better. Everybody's going to be in one room. That is going to be amazing. I can't wait.
I'm really excited about it too. And I'm also really nervous about it. For those of you that can't see us and you're only listening to us, I'm like hyperventilating over here.
Oh, it's going to be great.
It is.
Like, Judgment Day will come. No, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the interview with the two of you and getting to know both of your stories. And then actually writing your chapter together was actually really kind of fun as well. And like, it's a different chapter because you do have two very different paths that converge together at the end. And so I actually really enjoyed writing that.
When you get to know these guys, like the paths just make sense. Like you said, you guys do come from very different backgrounds. But man, you're just soulmates. And I remember now, I think the first time we really got to know each other was in Chicago, the USASF convention.
I was thinking about that. I was trying. It was at a conference that we met.
Yeah, we went to lunch, the three of us, and I was just like, man, Sean and Kali are just cool people. I mean, just such great hearts. So I can see how you two got together. I mean, just kindred spirits, both servant leaders, and just both all around awesome people.
That's what a bunch of so we're in a tumbling group. We all chat, and a lot of our friends have said that they don't understand how we hadn't met prior to when we met. So it was all kind of by chance, which is awesome. It's my whole life now.
Well, we are all super excited about the book. It will be coming out in September, and we will be hosting the launch party in Nashville on September 29th. For those that are not able to attend in person, we will be live streaming the event on our YouTube page here at the MotUS Edge podcast, so you guys can check that out and watch all the things and see Kali and all of the other amazing pioneers. And hopefully I won't hyperventilate on the night of, and then we can all have a good time. So yeah, with that, Kevin, I think it's time.
I'm excited. Dad jokes, Kali. So you know
great.
me, my personality, good enough. And so, why do crabs never share their lobsters? Because they're selfish.
Ooh, I was going to say crabby, which was close.
Because they're selfish.
Because they're shellfish. Oh God.
Kali, your answer worked too, though.
Yeah. So
well, I have a dad joke. I know I'm not a dad, but I have a joke.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tell it.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
Dad. I love your dad.
It's my favorite
I'm gonna
joke
say
on the planet.
I have to warn. This has not been a pre-screened joke, so I don't know what's it.
Oh, don't worry.
I know.
It's children's. It's a children's.
I do
joke.
not worry about you. It's Kevin and Casey I worry about.
What do you call a fish with no eye? Why do you guys already know that one? It's my favorite one.
I thought about it for a second, and I pictured a fish with no eye, and I was like, "No, wait, she's talking about the letter I."
Dang it! You're the king of dad jokes, Kevin. You got it.
It's not going there at all. So that's a good one. I like that.
Oh, too funny, too funny.
Well, can I do a quick conversation about Cheer Expo?
You can.
Awesome.
Do it.
So the cheerexpo.com is our competition company. We did 8 events this past year. In year 2, we just finished up our season last month. It was amazing. We're adding 8 events next year. We'll be in Las Vegas, Dallas and Houston, Texas, New Orleans, Hartford, Connecticut, Trenton, New Jersey, and a finale in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina in mid-April. And so we'd love to have you check out our competitions. It is thecheerexpo.com. That's TheCheerExpo.com.
Awesome. And Kevin spelled it right, which is great.
Yes.
Sometimes, Kali, we mess up the spelling of our own websites.
Yeah.
Especially me.
I'm glad you guys are in Vegas now. That's fun.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So
we're actually going to be in Fort Lauderdale too with the Primal Lion. So that's kind of like a group event in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And I'm excited about. I've never been in Fort Lauderdale, so I'm excited about that one too. And Myrtle Beach. I mean, I have some fond Myrtle Beach memories from back in the day. Me too. Yeah.
Do you know Myrtle Beach is the #1 visited beach in North America with over 19 million people every year?
Wow, is it really?
Yeah. Who knew?
That's crazy.
I know you're all cool down there in Miami, Kali, but actually Myrtle Beach is more popular.
Let's be real. What are better beaches, to be honest? Not in Miami. You can't even go in the water here. You can't even step. The rocks are so bad.
Well, the best beaches are actually on the Gulf of America, but there's not as many big towns there. So
I mean, I like Myrtle Beach because I grew up there.
Yeah,
that's more my favorite.
And did team camps there?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
That's a full circle. That was one of my biggest full circle moments in my life. However many years later, I attended teal camp. I sat there, shared all my feelings in the circle on the beach as a child. And then as an adult, I ran and helped that camp. And I that was just wild. That was a wild moment.
That's pretty cool.
I remember the moment, I'm telling a story, sorry. The moment I stood next to you and coached the camp, coached the kids off teal, I don't get nervous. I mean, I kind of get nervous for camps because that's just like my natural, like I get excited. It's more of an excitement, but I was like nervous. Like you were right here. And I was like, can you go in the other room or something so I can do this job?
Right.
It's like,
right. Like you feel
really
like,
nervous.
You feel like they're like watching you or, that's
what's she doing?
Yes. I totally get it. I totally understand.
The kids were just relieved to finally get some quality coaching. So,
God. Well, speaking of camps, so now you are doing Cheerfest camp, which is an awesome week-long adventure Cheerfest.
Amazing.
At Lake Francis Properties in Crossville, Tennessee, with John McCready and John Roethlisberger. And this is year 3 with you? Year 4? How many years has it been? It's been a few.
This will be Kali's 3rd year.
Yeah.
3 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Kevin and I are going to really kind of just let Casey and we apparently all miss Cole on this podcast today. We are going to let Casey and Kali kind of take it away with Cheerfest. Like, tell us all about the camp and how awesome it is.
Yeah.
Casey, you want to start?
You take it away. Take it away.
This camp is probably the thing I look forward to the most, and I never saw that coming. I just didn't. I ran other camps of this nature for years. Woodward back in the day, but this is a different experience, especially the fact that I get to put little personality details into it and positive pump up and whatever it is we want to create a positive experience. It is that, but it's all my favorite people that come and work. It's all amazing humans. They're usually either tumbling directors or directors of their gym, and amazing coaches from all different programs across the US. And we come and we just create an amazing week. We have themes every day. We have different stations. We do everything from standing tumbling, running tumbling, jumps, stunts, a little bit of baskets here and there. Like we go to ropes course for one of the stations. They have a choice if they want. But there's a lot of activities on camp that is amazing to do. And it's outside in the wilderness. There's also a beach and jet skis and tubing. It's just an entire experience wrapped up in a 5-day camp that I would have wanted when I was a kid, and I never got to do anything like that. So now I get to run it and make that experience for other kids, and it is fabulous.
I too never got to go to camp as a kid, and it was a thing. A lot of my friends got to go, and I kind of felt left out. And I mean, really, we just couldn't afford to go.
You didn't have any friends, tell the truth.
They were all at camp. So, but I did get to see firsthand with my own kids, especially my oldest daughter, like camp changed her life. Like there was a time one year when she went to camp and she actually went to camp for 2 weeks at High Harbor. And she was in the LIT program, which is a leadership and training program up there. And she came home a different person, literally from 2 weeks of camp. So I really had this vision in my head of that's what Cheerfest could be. And man, Kali and her team of coaches and instructors have just really created the exact vision that I had, because I saw it. Like I can almost get emotional thinking about it. I saw it literally at the very first camp that she did. You see kids that are, they're scared. They have never been away from mom and dad. We don't allow cell phones. They've never not had their cell phone. They may have even been signed up. I remember one girl, I can't remember her name, but like her mom just signed her up for cheerleading camp and she wasn't a cheerleader, and she just was withdrawn and scared. And by the end of the week, she was a different person. So I've witnessed and I've seen how camp can firsthand, 1 week can change the life of a kid. So Kali and her team have they're doing that. They're I'm not sure if they know the impact that they have on these kids, but they are literally like changing lives. So pretty cool.
I agree. It's been pretty remarkable, actually. And kudos to you, Kali, for just creating such an incredible opportunity and environment for the kids and the staff as well. I mean, they just, you lead the staff to follow, to follow your lead and your example. And I think that the kids just, they really do. They have such a great time. And yes, it's about cheerleading, but cheerleading is kind of actually like, it's so much more. And then there's some cheerleading.
Right.
Yeah.
I've got one
some
cool,
great cheerleading.
It is,
right.
It is great cheerleading, like, world-class instructors. But what's so cool about Kali and her team, I'll tell one more story about it. As we were getting our start, like camp's long days. I mean, you're up early, it's 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and you go right to breakfast. And then the kids are constantly rotating through the gym. So these instructors are going all day, literally from 6:30 in the morning. And I think we kind of wrap up around 5 or 6 in the afternoon of the instruction piece. But what the coolest thing that I've seen is like by 8 o'clock, they're all back in the gym sharing how their day went, coming up with new drills. And like, because these are people that love cheerleading and love what they do and love working with kids. So what would be their downtime, their time to relax, and they're spending that time becoming better at their craft and
right.
Really pushing on their own time, which I thought was really, really cool. And once again, a testament to the people that you've brought in and to what they want to do. And like I said, these folks would literally knock down a wall for Kali. They want to make sure that this is the best camp for her, but also for the kids. So,
well, and I'll add to that too, Casey. It is I've got to go and experience it and see it. It's beautiful. It's in the middle of Tennessee.
So you got invited to this camp then?
Yes, I did. So it's beautiful. It's on the lake. It is. It's serene and just so it's awesome. I mean, the cabins are great. The shower facilities are great. The gyms are great. And so, and the food is good. I mean, it really is pretty amazing for an awesome week of sleepaway camp. It's literally one of the best out there. It's pretty awesome.
And it's been a children's camp for over 15 years already with gymnastics. So it's a well-established camp that I feel it has a very safe environment and a very safe area. So it's pretty easy to just rock out a week there and have the best time ever. Like it's really cool too, because this year I've been talking with a lot of kids that they've never left home. They've never been away from home. And they're coming to camp for their first time ever as like a sleepaway, which, on this side, we're like, okay, let's make sure we have, if they're homesick, we have a homesick director, let's make sure we take care of all the things. But they're so excited about it because it's their favorite thing that they do. And a camp with so many experiences put together. So the parents are okay with it too. It's just amazing to really see kids leave their house for the first time for more than a couple of days and love it and have that experience, and are lifers. They want to come back every year.
And not have a cell phone. That's almost unthinkable in today's times. And I see it with my own kids.
It was unthinkable when we started it.
I know you were remember kind of opposed to it. And then, but I mean, that's the thing.
But by Wednesday, I was like, this is, so what we do, just in case anybody isn't familiar, is we don't allow their phones. They put their phones away. Yes, they can call home. We have phones for them to call home. But that's what also the gymnastics camp does. And I thought about in the beginning and I wasn't sure about it. And then when we got to Wednesday of camp, so camp starts on, Monday. When we got to Wednesday of camp, it was the best thing that has ever been established in anything, because kids are not, they're experiencing the moment. They're experiencing the moment. They're in it. They're learning more because they're more paying attention more. They're experiencing more friends and more conversation than they've ever done in their life because they are not locked in their phone.
Right. They need, like it's
amazing.
We all as adults even too, but the kids, all of us, we need like a detox cleanse from our cell phone and from all the inundation of all of the things, in our face 24/7. And it's hard to do. But once you get that couple days break, you're like, man, this is awesome.
It makes the camp run completely different than previous camps that I've run because
think about
they're
it.
there.
We don't know,
but
imagine what kind of drama the phones would cause, because someone's going to, make fun of somebody online or do this or have outside influences. And like you said, it's just a way to disconnect from all of that and live in that moment.
And it's such a valuable lesson for the kids to learn how important that is, and to be present in the moment and to really engage and that kind of thing. I think it's really awesome. Kali, what's your favorite part of camp? If you had to pick one thing. I know that's a tough question.
It is a tough question. My favorite part, I have two. I personally really enjoy anything that gets my adrenaline going. So the ropes course for an adult and children, but for an adult with that swing that goes over the lake, that's it. I'm an adrenaline junkie, so that was it for me. I do it every time, no matter what, because it is the most fun, and it consistently always gets my heart beating fast. Even if I've done it, I did it back in the day, 15 years ago, and I still get that adrenaline rush. So that's great. I love that. But my favorite part of camp is actually the talent show. The talent show, because kids get up there. We've had some moments that are core memories in my brain for the rest of my life because of a talent show. And it's just a small little, they just come up with whatever they have. If they can sing, they come up and they sing, and they do little skits and whatever. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun. And we all watch, we all cheer them on. But some kids have the nerve to sign up, but not the nerve to walk up. And what I have seen with kids supporting kids and the coaches, my coaches that are there and anybody that's there to help a child get over that like moment of like, I'm up here, but I can't start, or I can't walk up there, but they all know who it is. So we'll circle around them. We'll sing with them. So one of us, I have a face chills right now talking about it because we had like a Taylor Swift. She was a beautiful, tiny little girl. I don't know how old she was. I can't remember her name right now.
I remember that.
But she had a beautiful voice, but she was so scared. And she just stood there and she like I think she maybe started crying.
She
and then
cried. Yeah,
I said, let's go. And we had everybody circle around her and jump up and down and sing the Taylor Swift song with her. And she sang into the mic while we sang with her. And it was a whole party from our entire camp. And it's awesome. Moment that you just go, I would have never had the nerve. I had a public speaking issue. I would have never stood up there. Doesn't matter how many, would have never held a microphone and sang. I would have never done it. For them to at 9, 10, 11 years old to get up there, have the nerve to do that. And to that's the biggest moment. It's the hugest crowd. It's the, world. It's 3,000 people in front of them in their brains, and they get up there and we can help them do that. And then it becomes a moment for everyone. Everyone remembers it and walks away talking about it. It's it. That's it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Cool.
Amazing.
Casey, what's your favorite part of camp?
Mine is not nearly as deep as Kali's. I love the haunted hike because I like to get dressed up and hide behind trees and scare the kids. So, and I'm not very talented, but I can bark like a dog and sound like this crazy, like I can sound like a scary dog. So
let's hear it.
I like to hide behind the.
Let's hear it. I want to hear your scary dog.
Next time.
I want to hear it. Let's hear the scary dog thing. Let's go. It's not very good.
Let me unmute myself. So
that was pretty legit.
I'm like minorly impressed right now.
Yeah. That was pretty legit. That was not an actual dog yell. That was Casey Jones. That's Casey Jones right there. You missed your calling.
Am I going to do this right now? Am I doing it? I'm doing it.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know you could do anything.
Kevin? That was good. What do you got?
That was really good. So I only have one talent, but we'll save it for another time. So,
oh my goodness.
Hey, Kali, will you brag for 2 seconds about all the different all-star programs that you have staff come and work with you during? Because I mean, it is some of literally the best gyms in the country. So just give a shout out to 10 or 12 of those.
See, I have Stingray All-Stars. I have Charlotte All-Stars. I have Top Gun All-Stars. We have California All-Stars. And these are all pretty much directors that are coming from there, or, Stingray Orange coach, which that's amazing. So that's 4 major programs that we have right now. Cheerforce All-Stars also in California. I'm trying to think. South Coast Cheer. I know there's more. Sorry if I left you out.
We have some Texas gyms. We have some Texas gyms.
Yeah, we have Cheer Athletics. What else do we have? We had Powerhouse this year. I don't know what else we got. It's everybody. It's all the.
What's cool though is when they come to camp, they're Cheerfest staff, which is pretty cool.
They are.
And they're there to just be immersed in the week and help the kids that are there have a good time and get better at what they love to do. And it's pretty cool.
Really
it's pretty cool to watch.
I mean, they're helping the kids get better, but they're also getting better. Like I said,
that's the coolest. That's the coolest part.
I can't describe it, but like I said, it's Wednesday night and you're on the tail end of camp and everybody's exhausted and it's 11 o'clock and they're still hanging out. The staff is still hanging out in the gym and still trying to come up with drills all on their own, just because that's what they love to do. So that's really cool.
Like I never saw that coming. I never saw what you're talking about coming as big as it was, because when we started training, but I think the staff has become more excited on this end because now it's the same staff. They're lifers as well from day one. But I think we're more excited because it's a lot of great brains. But you know how you get in the same routine of things that you do. These are the drills you go to. These are the things that you use. These are the things that work. These are the things that work in your gym. And when we get there, we go, okay, now we get to share it all. Let's share it. So we have like a whole sharing session of like all the different drills that we've come up with the last year. And everybody gets really excited about it because everyone's passionate about learning and getting better at their craft, which I think is number one. if you are always getting better and you always have more and you can always find something, then you can be a coach forever, because that means you have the right mentality on your head, because things are always evolutionary. They always change. So you need to change with it and make sure you're building and gathering more details to make yourself great and to be a master at what you do. And I love that about the staff, because it's constant. It's all week long, and everybody walks away with their cup filled, not just the kids, but the staff walks away going, let's do this year. I'm ready, because we just upped our, we upped our skills and we're upping the kids and the way they feel. Everybody walks away going, we just did that. That was so much fun. Let's do it again, and let's do it with our own gyms.
I think that's I think that is my favorite thing. You can hear the genuine passion and joy and excitement in your voice when you're talking. And so I think for me, my favorite part has been watching you over the years, just, be so joyful and passionate about the camp and just do such great things for all of the kids and the coaches that come. It really is a special experience. And we're not doing a Cheerfest commercial today. This is really just to talk about Cheerfest. But if you are interested in signing up for Cheerfest and attending camp, we do have some spots left for this year. And you can do that online at cheerfest.com. That's CHEERFEST.com. So it really is an incredible experience. And like I said, kudos to you, Kali, for just you pour your whole heart and soul into it. And that's been my favorite thing to watch and see you grow and love it and make it this incredible camp that we can all be proud of. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Your leadership is second to none in that.
Thanks for the opportunity for it. Actually,
you were the first person that came to my mind when I was asked. Actually, I was like, we got to get Kali.
Oh,
so
story.
Yeah. All right, Casey. Well, tell us a little bit about the Business Expo, and we're gonna wrap it up.
The Business Expo, man, we've all been to the cheerleading conventions and things like this, but I honestly think this is the best one I've ever been to. So let me tell you a little bit about it. We'd love for you to join us at the MotUS Business Expo, September 28th through 30th in Nashville, Tennessee. 2 days of business development, leadership, and growth. The Business Expo is designed specifically with gym owners in mind. The MotUS Business Expo is free for all members, so join the movement today at www.joinmotus.com. That is www.joinmotus.com.
Now that we've made this,
it's so hard for me. I know.
Now that we've made it a thing, I mean, I've messed it up too. Like I made fun of Casey, and then I think the next one I messed up the spelling of something.
I start with M-O, and I want to start singing Mickey Mouse for some reason. Like M-I-C-K-E-Y.
Oh man. Okay, Kali, we always do a Simon Sinek quote, because I'm obsessed with Simon. And I think you're a Simon fan too. I feel like we've talked about that. Yeah, he's awesome. So our quote today, I'm going to read it to you, and then you're going to tell us, what you think about it. We're going to unpack it. So relationships are like seatbelts. If they don't click, then we'll never feel safe. So what are your thoughts on that quote?
I think building relationships are probably the most important thing that you can do in life.
Touche.
Learned that from Kevin. Straight up from Kevin. He's one of the best networking people that I've ever met. I wish I could talk to people the way you talk to people, but I think it's one of those things that you just have to constantly build, and you have to constantly work to make that part of an enjoyable part of life, and learn how to create really strong relationships in all areas, so that you can constantly enjoy and feel close with the people that you're working with and what you're passionate about.
I agree.
Love that.
I think too I agree with that 100%. And I think the quote, to me, I don't know, like, I feel like it's sort of maybe implying as well that, it takes work sometimes, it may not click right away. But that doesn't mean
patience.
Correct. It doesn't mean that it won't click, and it's a two-way street. We have to kind of work at that. But I
feel that when you coach with people, because I always say, like, the first year of coaching with somebody, let's say you've coached with somebody for 5 years, you've made it that far with another person. When you coach with somebody for a year, you don't know yet. You don't know how you can develop. And if you give it time, because that first year is always hard because you're dealing with somebody else's personality. And sometimes that personality is just different and you don't know how to work in with that. But if you give it its time, you can find your way with somebody and really become a strong coaching duo or pair. It just takes time and patience through the hard parts.
I feel that way because with Rob, I coached with Rob Burns for 11 years and we started off having almost nothing in common. I mean, he's completely right-brained. I'm completely left-brained. I'm organized type A. He loves music and life and theater and all the things. And boy, we had a lot of this and it did not click right away. And now he's one of my best friends, one of my favorite people in the whole world. And that's, a lot of that is through God's love and power. And I'm still waiting for it to click with Casey. So Stacey says it's going to.
Good things take time, guys. Good things take time.
You did nail. That was a word that stuck out to me when you were saying that is time, because I think anything that you want to be great at, anything takes time, and we often get caught up. And I said this earlier, in our humanness, and we just think that intuitively things are supposed to happen, but they typically don't. We have to spend that time. If you want a good relationship, you spend time in it. If you want a good business, you spend time in it. If you want a good relationship with your kids, you spend time with them, and
you're patient through the hard parts. That's the biggest thing, I think, with coaching, with work, with relationships, with friendships. I've really, really made that a conscious effort recently, is be patient with myself and my understanding and my reactions, and patient with others. And man, that is changing my life. That's
some excellent advice.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
It's not always easy.
Kelly, it has been an absolute joy to have you on our show today. Yes.
I have to tell one more story. I know it's been long.
No.
I can't let Callie go unscathed.
You don't have to do that.
Yes.
Well, hurry up.
This is not on a podcast.
Okay. So Callie, when she was in high school, she had some ups and downs like we all do in life. She was actually living with Jen and I her senior year of high school, and she was coaching and working at the gym. It was awesome. Jen and I go to the beach, Myrtle Beach, on a Friday morning, and we leave to go to the beach, and we come home from the beach on Sunday afternoon, and I'm fixing to unlock my front door, and we have these two windows on the side of my front door, and my neighbor's cat is inside my house looking at me, saying, "Please let me out. I got to go to the bathroom." So I open the door, the cat runs as fast as possible, and I'm like, "How did my neighbor's cat get in my house?" And so it turns out Callie, who was not as organized yet in high school, hadn't been to college and gotten that degree in organization. Callie comes home Friday after school. She opens the door, runs upstairs to pack a bag to also go to the beach, leaves the door open, throws some stuff in her duffel bag, runs out the door, locks the door, and takes off to the beach, locking our neighbor's cat in our house. Our neighbors who I don't know, who live across the street, and they're looking for their cat all weekend, and they can see their cat locked in my house at the windows, wanted to be let out, but they couldn't do anything. So Callie left the door open and locked the neighbor's cat in my house while she went to the beach for 2 days.
Well, at least she shut and locked the door, and she didn't just leave the door open. I mean, that's something.
True story. Still there. That's the cat that jumped up in Kevin's lap a minute ago.
That's funny.
Anyway.
Well, Callie, you are a wonderful person. We've enjoyed having you on today. Really appreciate you and your energy and just everything about you. Be sure to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and X at Join MotUS, and wherever you listen to your podcasts, give us a shout out. If you like what we're doing and you want to hear more, let us know. And hey, if you're a gym, join the movement and sign up for MotUS today. Thank you guys for listening. We hope that you enjoyed our episode with Callie as much as we did. And we are excited for you to have the MotUS Edge.
Thank you for listening to the MotUS Edge. We hope you had a blast. Join us next week for more on business, leadership, and motivation. Subscribe and follow the show where you get your podcasts. Subscribe to our newsletter at joinmotus.com. The MotUS Edge podcast is produced by ClantonCreative.com.